this video, the following contents are covered: arc furnace, heating of buildings, air conditioning. Arc furnace. This consists of a chamber with a suitable lining, and it has 2 or 3 electrodes used depending upon the supply given. The chamber has a tilting mechanism for removing the molten metal and rocking mechanism for thorough mixing of the charge so that uniform heating of the charge takes place. The electrodes, they are connected through a transformer so that they get the correct voltage for the furnace operation. Also, the transformer will tend to stabilize the arc. Since currents are of high order, special cables are used to connect the electrodes with the transformer and bus bars. The length of the arc, it can be varied by controlling the position of the electrodes. Either the current or the power can be maintained constant. There are 2 types of arc furnaces: direct arc furnace and indirect arc furnace, based on the contact made between the electrodes and the charge and the mode of heat transfer. Direct arc furnace. Figure shows the setup of direct arc furnace. We have the arc furnace inside which the charge is placed and the 2 electrodes are inserted from the top of the furnace, which is connected to the supply. The arc chamber, it is lined with an acidic or basic lining. The electrodes, either carbon or graphite, they are projected from the top of the arc furnace and connected to the supply. Current passes through the electrodes via the charge. The heat produced is of large quantity and very high temperatures can be obtained. The usual size, it is up to 5 to 10 tons capacity, although 50 to 100 tons capacity units can be produced. Another type, it employs the electrodes which completely dip in the charge so that heat is produced by the resistance offered to the flow of current. For a 3-phase supply, 3 electrodes will be used and the charge will form the star point. Power in the arc furnace, it is controlled by varying the voltage and also by varying the length of the arc and the arc resistance. The length of the arc and the arc resistance, it is varied by raising or lowering the position of the electrodes. Since current flows through the electrode to the charge, stirring of the charge will take place because of the electromagnetic force which is set up by the current. By the stirring action, a uniform product comes out of the furnace and the quality of the product is pure as compared to that obtained from the cupola. The main application of this furnace is in the production of steel. Indirect arc furnace. In indirect arc furnace, the electrodes are not immersed inside the charge. So the arc struck between the 2 electrodes results in heat produced, and this heat is transferred to the charge by the mode of heat transfer, radiation. Since the current does not flow through the charge, there will be no stirring action in the charge, and hence mechanical aids need to be used for rocking the furnace so that thorough mixing of the charge takes place. The life of the refractory lining also increases since the molten metal comes into contact with the lining and it takes away some of its heat, thus preventing the refractory lining from attaining high temperature. The application of this furnace is in melting of non-ferrous metals, although small quantities of ferrous metals can be melted using this furnace. Next is equivalent circuit of an arc furnace. The power consumption in an arc furnace is very high. The arc voltage, it lies between 50 to 150 volts and current of the arc is very high, in the order of thousands of amperes. This will require a special furnace transformer to provide low voltage and large current on the secondary. Figure shows the electrical equivalent circuit of an arc furnace. In the equivalent circuit, RT and XT is the equivalent resistance and reactance of the transformer as referred to the secondary winding. RL and XL are the resistance and reactance of leads. Re is the resistance of the electrodes. Voltage drop across the arc Ea is given by the equation I into Ra, where I is the arc current and Ra is the arc resistance. The power input to the furnace, it can be controlled by raising or lowering of the electrodes, due to which resistance of the arc changes. This can be also controlled by changing the tappings provided on the secondary winding of the transformer. For better control of the furnace temperature, both voltage and electrode control is to be used. The current through the arc furnace, it is given by I equal to V by square root of RT plus RL plus RA plus XT plus XL, considering negligible value of Re, that is resistance of electrodes. Here V is the secondary input voltage. The power output will be maximum when arc resistance Ra is equal to square root of Rt plus RL square plus Xt plus XL square, as per maximum power transfer theorem. Next topic is heating of buildings. The heating or cooling of buildings, it is required to provide comfort to the occupants of the building. In cold countries like UK, USA and other European countries, heating of building is required during winter and rainy seasons. Whereas in hot countries like India, China, etc., cooling of buildings is required during summer to provide comfortable atmosphere to the occupants. So under normal circumstances, the condition of a human body are the surface temperature of the body, which is about 27 degrees Celsius, and the body dissipates heat energy of approximately 100 to 120 watt per hour. Out of this quantity of heat, 45% is dissipated by radiation, 30% is by convection, and the remaining 25% by evaporation. Radiation, it is dependent upon the body surface temperature and that of the surrounding walls and objects in the room. Heat loss by convection, it depends upon the temperature of air in the room, whereas heat loss by evaporation, it depends upon the humidity of air. If these proportions of heat dissipation is approximately maintained, then the human body will be comfortable. The usual practice in designing the heating installation is to maintain an inside temperature between 17.2 degrees Celsius to 18.3 degrees Celsius, and the difference between indoor and outdoor temperatures is to be maintained at 8.3 degrees Celsius to 11 degrees Celsius for human comfort. The various methods of heating the buildings are high temperature radiators. The ordinary domestic electric radiator, it consists of a resistive heating element fixed inside an ornamental frame. When the supply is given, nearly 50 to 70% of the heat is dissipated by radiation and the remaining by convection. The advantage of this type of heat is that full temperature is attained quickly. But the disadvantages are the heat is localized and it casts shadows as the heat dissipated is mostly radiant. This type of heating is mainly used for domestic use where intermittent heating is required. Low temperature convectors. This heating device is in the form of a metal tube of about 5 cm in diameter, inside which a resistive wire in the form of spiral is mounted. The length of such tubes may vary from 0.5 meter to 4.5 meter and they are mounted around a skirting board of the room which is to be heated. The temperature of the external surface of the tube, it is about 95 degrees Celsius and 90% of the heat will be transferred by convection. Another form of low temperature converter, it consists of a resistance wire mounted inside an ornamental box with holes which allows air to pass through the box over the elements. Panel heating. In this type of heating, the resistive elements, they are in the form of large panel mounted on a heat resistance blackboard which is embedded in the plaster of the wall or ceiling. This type of heating provides uniform heat and it is advantageous from the decorative point of view. There are also non-embedded panels attached to the walls or ceilings or even suspended from the ceilings. For embedded type of panel mounting, the loading is between 222 to 333 watt per meter square and the temperature is between 27 degrees Celsius to 38 degrees Celsius. Thermal storage. In this method of heating, water is heated in an electrode boiler or an immersion heater in the storage tank, and the water which is heated is circulated through pipes or radiators which are run throughout the building. The efficiency of heating buildings with this method is very low since the pipes have to be lagged throughout. Using this type of heating system, in addition to heating buildings, the hot water may be used for other domestic purposes such as bathing, washing utensils, etc. Air conditioning. Air conditioning, it is the control of humidity and purity of air in addition to the control of the temperature, that is cooling in summer season and heating in winter season. After conditioning, the air will be circulated throughout the building either naturally or mechanically by means of a fan driven by an electric motor. Next topic is air conditioning. Air conditioning, it means control of temperature, humidity, motion and purity of atmospheric air in an enclosed space. Air conditioning in summer means cooling and in winter season means heating without causing discomfort. The main objective in heating or cooling for comfort is to provide an atmosphere where people can dissipate enough heat from their body to feel comfortable. The human body loses heat to the ambient air by the usual process of heat transfer, conduction, convection and radiation. The moisture in the form of sweat will be evaporated into the air. The heat loss from human body, it is not constant, but it varies according to the activity of the human and atmospheric conditions and the individual person. Air conditioning units. These units heat, cool and clean the air. They can be easily moved. Some might be self-contained while others require water, steam or refrigerant and other equipments. The self-contained unit consists of filter, cooling coil, conditioned air fan, refrigerant compressor, air-cooled condenser and condenser air duct connections, all enclosed in a single cabinet. Such room conditioners, they are available in sizes of 0.25 HP, 0.5 HP and 0.75 HP. Water-cooled room conditioners are also available. The working of a residential air conditioning equipment is understood from the below figure. So here air is drawn in through the evaporator cooling coil. Air is drawn in through the evaporator cooling coil. The refrigerant, that is liquid freon, is made to evaporate, which will cause the air to cool considerably. The air will give up some heat in evaporating liquid freon. The gas from the evaporator, it goes to the accumulator through which only dry gas passes on to the compressor. In the compressor, the gas will be compressed and it will be led into the condenser. The outside air drawn into the condenser will cool the compressed gas and it will change into liquid form. The liquid gas will then pass through strainer and then through capillary, which allows it to pass at the requisite rate. Most equipments of this type produces cooling effect, but some manufacturers employ a reverse cycle system in which evaporator becomes the condenser and vice versa. An automatic switching valve reverses the normal direction of flow of the refrigerant. The heat of compression of the refrigerant is distributed in the room by the internal air circulation fan.